longer stream on Saturday to make up for it. Stay up a little bit in the night. Okay, let's just go. People will be arriving soon enough, I find, so should be good. Okay, I think we got enough screen space here. We can even zoom in a bit for those that may not see so well. I think this is big enough. We can go full screen. Doesn't really change anything. Anyways, so I've been away on a holiday as this patch was being released bit by bit, information wise, so I wasn't really able to do any coverage on it, and I really wanted to. Like, I always like to do this, so let's just dive right into it, not waste too much time. Chat will be asking some questions, and I'll try to answer as I talk about these things. So the biggest change probably in the history is, hey Nasty Bananas, is that crossplay is now here for 1v1. So these here are all the crossplay playlists. So versus AI, Rumble, Team War, ranked 2v2 objective, so domination, ranked solo war, that's deathmatch, then ranked 3v3 X war is still a thing, and then all of Blitz is also crossplay. Ranked 2v2 and 3v3 are kept in reserve for some reason, for both platforms. PC does not have ranked 3v3 for itself. It's got the X War instead, which Xbox players can always join as well, but they have their own 3v3, so it's kind of weird. It would make sense to only have one of those. Doesn't matter too much. The point is that if the current crossplay setup proves viable in terms of fairness, then I think these will all be made crossplay. So there will be the crossplay 3v3, I hope, one day. This one will be the only 3v3 hopper, I hope. And I hope that a 2v2 gets added and then these can go away. And then the whole game is crossplay. Done. Nasty Banana says the same thing. And for the balance itself, let's look at those, because that's the main thing we want to talk about, really, right? So this is a bit of a long list. It's probably one of the bigger patches that have ever hit the game. So to say, yeah, we talked about this. Right. So the balance changes themselves. This is a general thing of air versus tanks and Colossus. I guess the Colossus may have been split out of the tank group armor-wise, but it's not bad. So basically this is that the air versus tanks was a bit too good. In the previous patch, they increased by 40% that damage, and they're pulling that back so that it's 30 instead of 40. Good. Air versus anti-air, I mean, okay. I'm not sure if this was super necessary, but it doesn't really change much. You shouldn't be targeting the anti-air vehicles with your air units. You should be killing the vehicles with them. I do think that the air units may be not good enough still at that job of killing the tier 2 vehicles, but we shall see. I think there may have been too many anti-air buffs, but like I said, it remains to be seen. Something like fast tech air is unthinkable in the current meta because everyone opens with just a bunch of infantry units, and if they go fast tech as well, then they'll probably be going vehicles, which is currently the quite meta thing if you look away from combat tech marines, which is what UNSC wants to spam. So anyways, air as an opener doesn't have viability until scouts are good. Scouts should be a kind of safe opener that doesn't really do much if the other guy goes core infantry. Really not the case, but let's get to that at the correct place. Detect range increase. So part of the reason that this is a thing is because cloaked bases are so hard to break. This text talks about that. Every time unit line of sights get increased, the detect range will not match it anymore. However, um, at the base value, it will match. So that's a pretty big increase, especially for the freaking scouts. Look at those increases. It's like more than double. Holy. Excuse me. So that should help us a lot with detecting bases. I could even imagine just making a single scout unit and upgrading it to detect from so far away. Like 80? That's a really good range. Sniper is also at 90. There might be a reason to make these units in the late game now. Also, the detection increase for Nightingales and the engineers is also pretty good. Scouts. I have a problem with these guys. They just don't do what they should. They're okay now versus the light rush units, but this buff, I mean, even the patch before this, the scouts were beating the light rush units. The light rush units are uh, listed here, the jump pack brutes and the elite enforcers. So that also means that the Goliaths still haven't been made into a light rush unit. They are a light unit, which is terrible because wait, they're not listed there either. What? Oh, because light armor. Yeah, yeah, yeah. Sorry. Um, the Goliaths are light, like Marines and Grunts. Scouts deal terrible damage to those because Grunts and Marines should counter the Scouts. And because of that, the triangle between Goliath Rush and how to defend it is completely broken. You defend it actually by making core infantry, and their abilities are the things that are the big damage dealer there. Um, so my gripe with this is that Jackrabbits were struggling against Flamers. They were struggling against Cryo Troopers, especially, and that gets the smaller increase as opposed to the Light Rush, which they were already dealing okay damage against, except for the Enforcers, which also got nerfed against them as far as I recall. We'll have to see. Choppers needed a bigger increase than these across the board changes. Um, if you go choppers right now, you will straight up lose the flamer pressure. It's really sad. Like, you will clean it up, but at what cost? You have to make so many of them. And then they get countered by the core infantry. Ghosts are in a good place. Ghosts should be the staple scout. And jackrabbits and choppers should be balanced around the ghost. Ghosts are really strong. Snipers and rangers versus heroes got slightly increased. That's okay. Snipers were good already, so I'm not sure they needed it, but they shared the damage type. Uh, so I suppose it was just an across the board thing. Ram damage type modifier. So that's very important when it comes to ghost spam and chopper spam versus fast tech vehicle builds. That was the way to beat them, believe it or not. You would just make a lot of scouts. You show up at the base of the other guy uh, when they have a bunch of vehicles, and you just keep ramming the crap out of them. Strip their base if you can, or at least just keep that army low. It also was a big problem when it comes to uh, making a lot of hogs versus mantis and just ramming the crap out of the mantis. The mantis are really weak against it, and it's also the thing that gives warthogs the superiority uh, against the marauders, which is why people don't really make a lot of marauders if they're fighting against hogs. Although luckily enough, you don't need to because Banish has a functional anti-vehicle unit, the Hunter. Really good unit. Except in one case, and we'll talk about that. Also, help Nasty Bananas beat that boss and Base Hunter because they need it. They shouldn't just fight the kitten. Anyway, yeah, Scarab Stomp is also affected by that change. It's really not that important, I think. Mines will no longer be droppable on units. So it's gonna be like, what to compare this to? Well, if you want to drop your unit drops on units, you know how they shift a bit away. Yeah, it's the same thing. Which is gonna mean that you can't do cheesy shit anymore, like just stunning everyone and throwing the mine on them. It will go a bit to the side, which gives a bit more counterplay opportunity. Of course, it's still possible to do stuff like dropping a mine, stunning people, and sorry, not stunning, but displacing people away onto a mine, stunning them with jump back brutes, and timing it all correctly so that they just blow up while they are stunned. Luckily, jump back brutes only slow now, so that should be a huge difference, which we'll talk about later. It's still gonna be a thing in team games though, when combined with Spartans or drops. Okay, we got Marines. They got an increase of 15% against air. Again, not sure if necessary. Fast air openers can be completely forgotten about now. They weren't a thing to begin with, and now they've been nerfed to the ground. This is going to help team games a bit, where you leave Marines behind and air will fly over Marines and get wrecked. Combat tech Marines rockets got reduced, and I believe there was a small compensation for it as well. Again, the problem is that they got a huge modifier against the tier 2 vehicles, and they kind of trade with hogs. If they got gales, they even win. That's bad. Hellbringers got increased a bit versus but tiny little bit. We'll see how this goes. I'm not sure it's enough. One of the reasons this was done is to help against the tier 2, fast tier 2 builds. UNSC mirrors were basically just hog wars, right? Except for this combat tech marine problem. Some of the UNSC leaders were able to pull this off, although again, there's exceptions like Isabel would obviously not suffer from that because of how strong Mac Blast was. Also, should be moderately speaking addressed. Wolverines. Um, okay. So they got a bit cheaper in power. Okay, not the biggest deal, but they got a DPS increase of their grenades by 30%. This is dangerous. Definitely dangerous. It was reduced for a really relevant reason, and I think Wolverines might be good enough now to take off a bunch of Cyclops. I don't like it. Wolverines should do what they are good at, killing AA and detect. Much more is unnecessary, I think. Oh well. At least I hope that the damage type was changed to that of the scouts. That's what should be done with this. I don't think it did. Scorpions got buffed. They really needed that. And actually, I was making a few lately, and it wasn't so bad. One of my problems with Scorpions is that when you shoot canister, they're basically stuck for the whole duration of the freaking ability, and until it hits, that animation is just too long and really needs some work. Just compress the animation, basically. Like, if you got a Wraith, its uh, its viability shot uses the same animation as the normal attack, so no animation essentially. But the Scorpion has something super freaking complex with its gun and its lights are flickering and whatever. It's good for telegraphing reasons, but it's terrible for actually controlling it. You just lose control over the unit. Spartan Slam got nerfed. Stun is reduced by 1 second, so that's good. But I'm not sure if it's sufficient for what we need because again, the most problematic ones are with offensive powers that hit quickly. So Mac Blast, Archer missiles, absolutely brutal to combine with Spartan Slam. Not to mention team games, where you can combine other stuff with it. Like further down, we'll see that the gassing beam has been buffed quite a lot. And if you combine that with a Spartan Slam in a team game, oh man, I don't believe that this was the problem. The AoE radii of the damage. I think the bigger problem was that there's literally one-shotting a ton of lighter units such as the suicide grunts, especially the suicide grunts. Like, that's just so sad. I've had games where I Spartan slammed 8 suicide grunts and they just all died. Okay, see turrets, anti-infantry reduced by 5.5% damage. Again, I have to see how that goes. Uh, I don't think it's enough. I think outside of combat tech marines, UNSC should still be doing hog versus hog. Although I've had a game against Jetty where he was making hornets and continuing to drop, but then he was Kensano, who has a lot of bonuses to hornets, like um, the big drop, the what else? He's got Kinsano's got the we got a host. Nice. Thank you so much, man. Appreciate it. Loyendola. Um Hello everyone that's new. So we're talking about the Halo Wars 2 patch here. Yeah, what was I saying? Oh yeah, Kinsano's got a lot of things going on that help Hornets, like Redline or the Heat of Battle thing, and then the Hell Charge that the drop gives. So it's like, okay, Kinsano Hornets are not bad, that's for sure. Anti-vehicle turrets increased a bit. I don't think that's enough either to really get rid of hogs. It might be good, but it's not gonna be great. I think they should do more against tier 2 vehicles by a little bit. Anti-air turrets didn't apply the splash correctly, that's fine. And a tiny reduction of siege turret DPS. I think it might be good if they were heavily reducing as buildings. You get this situation on Bedrock very often that you shoot from your own base to the enemy base with the siege turret and you have to do nothing else and detect it with an air unit. It's kind of sad. Very oppressive. And it can definitely strip a base. Okay, Vulture AA missiles slightly increased. That's nice. I like to be able to use the Vultures for something outside of base cracking and viability spam. They're pretty expensive, so it's hard to get to anyway. Banished turrets got a buff across the board. They're so trash that 10% is not going to do anything. Like, if you get a terrible salary, you don't want a 10% increase. You want a flat increase of something, right? 10% here and 10% here are not the same thing. Banished turrets are absolute garbage, and they need way more help than that. Anti-air turret bug fix, yep, it's the same story. They need way more than 10% on those. Banshee, yeah, it's pretty much the same story. As always, air keeps getting nerfed for some reason because some people in team games just can't handle them because they need to learn to play. They're not willing to, they go to Waypoint, they complain, and this is what we get. Okay, air is a problem. Banshee is not the problem. Decimus passives are the problem with Banshees, and that's it. That should have been addressed very specifically to Decimus's abilities. Like, the devs can create a hidden tech that applies a nerf to Banshees only after the Decimus passives have been picked up, and they can reduce the passive's effect, especially on the Banshees only. It would be the perfect balance change, but instead, everyone's banshees are getting wrecked. I don't like it. And where are the nerfs to Ender Sentinels? Like, those should have happened 3 patches ago, and we still don't have them. People don't complain because they don't get to that point in the game, but they're a bigger problem than Decimus Banshees. Blister back. Air plasma cannon damage increased by 5%. That's nice. That's a flat damage increase. I like it. Blisterbacks need some love. I think they need some range for their artillery attack, although they're pretty good. Just a little bit, like, I don't know, 10%. Would be really cool. So Kodiaks are longer range, but I understand why, because the Blisterbacks are dual purpose, but then again, they're tier 3, so they should kind of be closer than they are now for sure. Now, the glassing buffs are a big topic, and I'm going to refrain from severely commenting on it, except that splitting is still obviously very important. But it's going to be much more focused now, so you'll actually kill stuff that's under it faster. It's feeling pretty good. Some people are saying it's too good against buildings, but then if someone strips a set of pads with this, what happens is the other guy can just leader power your units. So I'll have to see if they kill the advanced generators or not. Then again, combined with units, it should be able to do serious damage to the base. You don't get to micro with it though. Like, maybe that's a fair trade-off. I have to see it. I will come back to comment on this. I'll probably make a topic. It does kill advanced generators. Okay, that's probably too much then. Either way, I'll come back to this topic in the future. Not necessarily on the stream, but on Waypoint for sure. Elite Rangers base DPS increased a bit. Oh, that's a double buff of Rangers against heroes. That should be actually effective. Okay. I like it. God, why won't I stop coughing? Grunts. All grunts with air damage increased. Again, same story. Grunts are actually better against air than marines, so take that. Also, they got access to engineers, which can help them way more than nightingales can help. I'm not sure this is necessary. Brute grunts got damage increased. Oh, shit. I don't know about that, dude. What about Decimus? Ay, ay, ay. Damage increase on the lead grunts. Oh my goodness. Arbiter. Arbiter gets nerfed. We'll see it below, but I don't know, man. Leader plus elite grunts were all the all the rage in the previous patch. And that's kind of counteracting the other nerfs that Arbiter is getting. So this is scary. Yeah, that's kind of scary. And then the upgraded ones also get a damage increase. Hunters. Adjusted the flag on hunters that will make them a bit... Oh, yeah. This is when they get assault beam. Basically, moving and shooting is going to work more reliably. So that's going to be very nice for microing them. When you choose a new target, they'll just shoot as they should. Jump up roots no longer stun, but instead do an 85% slow. So that's going to be pretty good. Help a bit with Atriox's countermeasures. And together with the mind change, that should put away that stupid cheese. Although it is possible to beat it, but I don't think such a thing should be in the game. Reverse, the worst thing in this patch. Again, this power cost change is fine, but this is absolute madness. Okay, both of these things deal amazing damage to, what's it called? To the anti-vehicle units, and there is actually a video here that Sad Joker linked. Let's just watch it, and let's give credits to Nushi who recorded this. I believe it was a... What the hell is it? Yes. This is from last season, okay? bear in mind. Okay, go. We're gonna mute it so we don't get muted on YouTube ourselves. Yeah, so this is what happens if one-on-one they fight. That was with the Reaver jumping on top of the Hunter, which obviously does damage. Now, bear in mind that both the gun damage on the Reaver and the jump damage have been increased. Look at that shit. They're already down like 20% health. And look how fast they're draining the health of those Hunters. This got buffed by 30%. Okay? It's gonna mean that the Reavers are almost gonna be equivalent. Yeah. The anti-air unit is literally killing. The anti-air vehicle, to be exact, is killing anti-vehicle infantry. Not population-wise, but it's very freaking close. It's crazy. It's a bigger fight. Also, imagine how bad this is if the hunters don't have the assault beam, which deal all this AoE damage. And just overall make their attack higher. I believe this is the one where the hunters actually win. Yeah. So you need 15 versus 24. Why should the Reaver be such a strong unit against the anti-vehicle units? This makes no sense. Please revert these, at least against the anti-vehicle units. Not just revert, nerf on top of that. Like, the Reavers should get absolutely shredded by Hunters. And Cyclops. It's a much bigger problem for Cyclops to deal with. Alright, Wraiths had a 5% buff to health and shield, and a 12% buff to the main cannon, so that might be... it's possible that they'll be better than the Scorpions now. Either way, they will be a viable unit. They really needed this, and it will be nice to see them again. I'm really looking forward to using Wraiths and generally tier 3 units. In the last few seasons, we've just not seen enough of that stuff. Arbiter. So, Conduit of Rage got severely nerfed here, so 4% every 1.5 seconds is what it was, and now it's 3% every 2 seconds. And yeah, that just scales up, so it gets better and better as you level up the ability. It's a pretty hefty nerf. I'm not sure it's enough. What's really nice though is that the Arbiter hero actually gets way less healing. I am not sure if that was separately addressed here. We don't want to go nuclear and hit this guy down too hard. Yes you do. You really do. Because everyone banned them in the tournament. Every tournament had Arbiter banned. That's how bad it is. So you really want to crack down on this leader. Although I understand wanting to take smaller steps, I don't think this is going to be enough. I think Arbiter is going to remain one of the best leaders in the game. Reflect damage reduced. That's nice. And the post-attack cooldown was increased for the elite enforcers. That doesn't do anything. Post-attack cooldowns are the things that make the unit wait before they do an attack again. If you move the unit or give them a new order to attack something else, that is cancelled. So that's not a balance change at all. That's just cosmetic. I don't like it. I'm pretty sure that RB still does dominate. Okay. Although what does help is Banish getting the glassing buff. That will help against Arbiter. Atriox buffs. So fortifications is gonna be way better. We are actually gonna see fast expo builds, I think. With these costs, it should be more than possible. All other cost reductions have been lowered at tier 1 by 3% and tier 2 6%. Oh, wait a second, lowered? Does that mean that the other reductions are now so you pay more than before for the other things? I am not confident that that's what that means. Bulwark cooldown reduced by 20 seconds, so they're gonna still take a Bulwark is still gonna take longer to come off cooldown than an offensive power, so it will require some planning from the Atriox to time the attack so that they'll be able to use a second invulnerability against the power, which is good. They shouldn't be getting the opportunity to do it every time. God, I need some water. And that's all the water. Damn it. Healing has been increased by a minor bit. I don't think that's enough. It should heal way more than that. It's quite expensive. Anders. So the arc defense got buffed. They're still a pew pew. Like again, if you have a shit salary, you don't want a percentile increase, you want a big flat increase. Yeah. That needs to be more, especially in the early one. Like I have absolutely no desire to pick up that leader power ever. Retriever Sentinel now actually will take out 30 pop, so that should be great for balancing out those early late game armies. There will be not much backup to that Retriever when first cast. I like it. Even if it just forces Anders to get the pop upgrade before the Retriever Sentinel, that's a great thing because it's a big delay. Cutter. The Spartan laser upgrade got buffed quite a bit. This piece doesn't do anything again, but hey. I suppose if he's standing still, it does something. Same with the Elite Enforcer. It will basically reduce overkill. Or here they increased it, right? Oh, they increased it, right? Okay. In this case, it will reduce the overkill because he'll fire more frequently, but only if he stands still. I'm not sure if Cutter needed a buff, but Jerome was the weakest of the 3 original Spartans, so I do support that specific change. I'm just not sure if Cutter is going to be too good now with that change. One day Decimus will not be OP. Yeah, I mean, Decimus is pretty freaking good, and the grunts just got buffed, so the hero plus grunt builds are gonna be very, very powerful. Bandit Staffing got nerfed. I don't think that that was key. I think it's much more important to just fix how that works. But code changes are still ways off as far as I heard, so we'll see uh, if such a thing will ever occur. The problem is with Boundless Siphon that you go out of combat with units and they still take healing from it as if you were fighting. That's not how it should work. Cost got increased for the active Siphon, which is nice, but I think... Oh, the effectiveness was reduced. Great. Great. I think that's fine then. That's a lot of supply for the big ones. It's probably worth it. I mean, it's such a powerful ability, especially when you use it on the heroes. God, we're still going. I do need to get myself some water. 1 second, guys. Wow, that's a lot of talking. I don't talk this much normally. Anyway, Forge's Grizzly Battalion was just way too over increased. I was in favor of a big increase, but that's just way too much. Uh, maybe could drop another little bit, but either way, it should be okay now. Isabel's Mac got pretty much entirely reworked, so that's interesting. More costly, especially that power cost change is relevant. It's going to be way harder to actually get that 50 power. Um, when you first use it as a hog player, a fast hog player, that timing of 200 is already making you wait because you need to upgrade all those pads. If it's 50 more, it's going to be actually possible to amass more anti-vehicle units before you use it, so that could be actually good. And then it falls off in damage way faster, but at the center, I think it's going to be even more powerful now. Mm-hmm. Yeah. No, no, it is not. The center range got very, very. It's a minuscule increase there of 1.5 to 2. That's a tiny, tiny range. It really won't be noticed. Basically, consider this a faster damage fall off of the area area damage there. And oh, okay, the base DPS got decreased as well, quite a lot. So yeah, we should definitely feel this. Oh, wait a second. Uh-oh. The big problem here is that one thing didn't happen to it. The telegraph. It did not get the telegraph change. Uh-oh. Thing is, this thing hits in 2 seconds. You cannot dodge it unless you're already on the move and the other guy targets in the wrong way. That's a problem. I think it's gonna do the same thing as before. Whoa, what is that? Uh, what? I don't want that. Stop trying to hack me, chat. Anyways, Johnson. This guy has been an interesting spot for some time. Yeah, he needs to be improved. Colossus, 10% speed increase, okay, but they wreck anti-vehicle units. Uh-oh. Yeah, the thing is, Colossus are single-handedly able to put away Banished. It's really sad. Of course, Banshees help, but you just make Wolverines, right? Mantis upgrades are now cheaper for the first tier. It's okay, but it's not okay because the shields are so low. Again, the shields are the same as that of a ghost. This 10% increase will not be felt. If you look at the total health of the Mantis plus the shields, then the new value of the sum of those two things is only, I believe, 2% above what it was. So that's not a noticeable change. This is a noticeable change. I can upgrade one more pad. Yay! Normalized veterancy. That's not going to be enough, by the way, to even double pump the Mantis. That's why they're so much worse than Warthogs. You cannot double pump them due to their cost, and then you need to upgrade them to be really effective, and then that shield isn't that good after all. It just needs something, you know? I think the cost is fine now, as it is, but like, please make this shield actually worthwhile. It's a prerequisite of using the Mantis, and if it's not epic, kinda like, okay. So now I got a unit that's kinda pop effective with hogs, but it's more expensive and I can't make as many. So I'll just lose automatically in a hog versus Mantis fight. Also, they're slower, so there's that. Normal. There is the one thing though that's helping the Mantis side of the story, which is Pelican Transport can be used to base trade against Hogs. But then again, they're outnumbered, so difficult. Normalize veterancy by reducing his requirements. Yes, that's good. Johnson's veterancy should be just the same as Spartan's. Basically, every hero should have the same veterancy applied. That's like not even a question. Destroyable beacon for Johnson's ability has a health buff of 3 for 3%. I see what you did there, guys. It's funny. Yeah, that beacon was just too weak. I'm not even sure if it should be destroyable, but that was the intended design. So it definitely was too weak and too easily killed. Now it should be a bit harder. Serena's Frostraven ability cooldown got improved, actually. That's nice. I think the cost on that unit is just still too crazy. I don't want to pay 100 power for that thing. Is it 100 power still? It might be less. Didn't I think I recall reducing that back at CA when I worked on Halo Wars. I think I reduced that from 100. I don't know what it is now. Pavium. Someone help me out, chat. Pavium is very tricky to mess with. Oh yes. Oh yes. 6-hour turtles? Lich damage got buffed, but isn't gonna last so long. Okay, that's good. Unit spawners should indeed be healthier because it's too easy to take it out, and the damage buff is just gonna be so nice. The Pavium stand has been reduced from by half. That's actually very helpful. See, these are the kind of changes we need to the overpowered leaders. Just go a bit more aggressive. Slow and Pavium's ability reduced from, again, more than half. This is great. Why wasn't this done earlier, and why can't we do something like that to Arbiter, who's stronger than Pavium? And the hero reflection. Okay, that's good. I think Pavium with his stupid slow and Rain of Fire combo will not be so oppressive anymore, and I don't think he'll be able to turtle too long with this nerf. Oh, the portal still dies too fast? That's possible, yeah. It isn't a big increase. But the damage increase is good. Few changes have been made for Shipmaster to help improve his advanced cloaking ability and mines. Yeah, so the line of sight increased. Honestly, that's not the purpose of it, really. But, okay. What I want for Shipmaster really badly is to get the yappening change of the banished raid. That would be great. Shroud cloaking range increased by 15% on second point. Actually, that might be making it worth it. 2-point raid, yes. Yes, yes, yes. Jerome got a little bit of help. So Omega team is 200 cheaper. Okay, I mean, it's a really good power already. The only problem with Omega team, I think, is that sometimes the hijacks don't work. That's it. Field promotion reduced. I think still a bit too pricey for what it does, but okay. Mastodon speed increase 8%. Alright, no problem. I think Mastodons are balanced, actually. Okay, Vorodus. Combat Sports effectiveness reduced by 15% at first point and 28% at second. Again, that wasn't... No, revert this, please. That wasn't the problem. The problem was that it's too good against the base. Like, you attack a main base, and the value of this power goes up way, way far because of the cost value of the base. Especially if it's an upgraded base, your power income will go crazy. field promotion worked on leaders, it would be worth it. Yeah, it would be. It's still, it only does one level up. So imagine if you could do that on a mega team and your Jerome. That would be great. Insano. That was a bug. The incendiary grenade. Yes. So that is weaker to the core vehicles by 20%. Actually, it's still really good. Even after that nerf. Mostly because of the AoE it leaves behind. Incendiary grenade, flame hawk damage to buildings reduced by 7%. That's also nice. Hell drop cooldown increased a bit. That's good. Especially against banished. Those things are so hard to kill. So hard. God. Fixed bug with Kinsano veterancy gain. Yeah, she wasn't able to get it last patch, so that needed to be fixed. One more thing I'd really like to see for Kinsano is to actually change how much the flame hog drop costs, because it's basically cheaper than to buy the flame hogs. It's really stupid. Uh, Also in the cooldown, you might want to add 20 seconds to it. It's just so oppressive. I mean, the ultimate drop is already really freaking amazing because it's basically two powers in one. So there is that. Yep, the destroyer got nerfed with cooldowns on the powers. I don't think that's why Yep is strong. It's gonna help a bit, but it's not gonna matter. Especially with the glassing beam buffs. Oh my god, I'm gonna combine that with the methane. It's gonna be ridiculous, dude. It's gonna be ridiculous. This doesn't solve any problems. Yep struggles against flamers so hard. Please fix the choppers. They are so trash. They need DPS. Thank you. Blitz changes. I personally don't talk about Blitz, so I just leave them on the screen so you can read it quickly. And yeah, that's it. Any questions, chat? Or shall we just go into games? Oh, I remember what I wanted to do. Tier list prediction. What do I think about the yappening? I actually didn't like it that much because Arbiter was absolutely bonkers. I liked the core idea. I did not like uh, that Arby was able to stasis freaking everything. And when stasis expired, it took a few seconds to get it again. Like, Amaranta says that there was a guy who turtled him for 4 hours like that. Freaking disgusting. And I had one like that too, except it was 1 hour, not two or more. Yeah, if that happened again, I really hope they fix stuff like that. I think they shouldn't make powers faster. You were there, nasty bananas. Great. Let's talk about this, boys. This man is crazy. That's not true. It's gonna be hard to do this, though. Why is HW's high tier? It could not be made a legit game mode uh for technical reasons because they were hijacking the deathmatch setup. Like there is no way to add a new mode right now with separate balancing. Yeah. But gameplay wise, yes, absolutely. You know what? They could steal domination for that, honestly. Fuck that game mode. Uh no one plays it, so might as well. Do I think Banished will still be able to easily turtle despite the cloak changes? Uh, I mean, okay, so for the cloak, you gotta actually reveal the center of the base uh, for it to be revealed. So, yes, I think they'll be able to turtle. Easily, no, not easily. Um, you will be able to actually do stuff about it. So that's good. I'm pretty sure you'll be able to deal with it now. But they'll be still better at turtling than you in SC, I think. Nasty wants Shipmaster to be at the top. Strongholds would be harder to replace because there's a lot of code going on in the background for that. Domination. Oh, actually, but yeah, there's actually a lot of script set up for domination. I don't think they could replace that, but they could make it yapping inside of it. You know, just domination with the yappening rules. I think they could do that. But how would they? No, they can't do that actually, because domination uses the. Yeah, they can't do it, man. There's no viable way to do it. I am sorry. Bringer of terrible news. Okay, let's see this list. Um, so I copy pasted this from Sad Joker. Serena at bottom? I don't know, man. Looks pretty good. Pavium so high. I don't think so anymore. I'm gonna say this. And at the very bottom, huh? I'm gonna say Shipmaster is way up. Shipmaster is gonna be way up because of glassing. Like, that's just so good. It's gonna have all the tools right now. And you can't really kill those freaking hunters, man. So good. Shipmaster has just such a good toolkit. It's the only thing he really needs is for rate to be 2 points. I honestly believe that these two are the best because they just buff the grunts. And both synergize very well with infantry. And then this guy gets glassing, aka balance beam, and this guy still has the healing from conduit. So honestly, I would just nerf the healing from conduit to the ground and make what's it called, the plasma the plasma power. Yeah, just make that good, like way better than it is now. Jerome, I don't think he's that high. I think it's more like this. Serena is so freaking good on some of the maps that are more tight. Decimus is absolutely up here. Pavium actually probably not even up here. I would not ban Pavium anymore. Not even kidding. Would I say that Colony is worse than Pavium? I wouldn't, would I? Yep, yep. I'm gonna put Yap Yap way up here actually because methane plus glassing is gonna be funny. I think that will be the optimal way to play now. Yeah, yeah, I do know that RB is the only one banned. Do I think Johnson is better than this? Actually, no, not at the moment. Maybe he is better than this. Who knows? I'm gonna leave it at this. Is Isabel that bad? I'd still be very happy to play Isabel. Actually, we're gonna switch places with Pavium. All right. And now I'm gonna go to the bathroom and then we'll play some games.